Remember that they're changing my voice. I'm sure you all know that I'm not naturally white, Jewish, or LGBT-like. Now let's look at point 31. I'm sure we can all agree that people who persecute me and their dead so-called loved ones and their offspring will cook to the extreme in the afterlife. All who challenge my power by persecuting me and trying to control me, or by reducing my brain function, look, voice, or handsomeness, etc., deserve and will receive extreme eternal disgrace and extreme punishment. I have given many warnings and pronounced judgments for years, and God clearly takes my side, as their lives are pitiful and mine is clearly the most ideal. Again, they have no viable counterarguments for any of my core points. Again, in case you're, some immature law enforcement throwing a fit, some white, Jewish, LGBT supremacy fit. Let me explain it again. Where it's their suffering is in the afterlife, right? That's their souls. It's not a physical threat or something. Anyway, so when you look at this, obviously the things I say are far more serious than anything that could happen to your flesh, right? If someone threatens to fire you or put you in prison or torture you, this is just, temporary. Eternal punishment and eternal disgrace and leaving your mark on the world as a disgraced person forever, that's something else. Okay, point number 32. Telling the complete truth about sparring when no one else will, by itself seems to show that I have the most heart and passion. And obviously I do have the most heart and passion, but that by itself seems to show that by itself. But we'll get to, in a moment, what proves it definitively. And we already have to some degree in this overall paper. We'll go over it again briefly. Okay. By itself, it also seems to show that I am the true natural leader of all mankind. My about 10-year and counting victory, achieving top martial arts outdoor, my about 10-year and counting victory achieving top martial artist outdoor sparring challenge is the greatest martial art achievement of mankind and has brought, of any man ever, of any person ever, not mankind, because they don't share in it. They moved against me every step of the way, and has brought me the greatest victory in human history and the greatest victory ever possible. Again, this is overkill by the fact that technology, cheating, breeding, and generational ill-gotten gains have made it so that no true victory is possible after I die, right? For anyone else in the future. One must consider their moral failure due to their lack of morality, right? Their failure to be moral. So one must consider the moral failure of nearly 8 billion people in the end, while I was the one with the vital and true sense of urgency, the sense of responsibility, right? Responsibility, responding, right? And the ability to see that the situation was a particular type of an emergency when everyone else was like acting like a Simpson character or something. They didn't get it. Mental qualities which expressed a certain falcon vision that allowed me to visualize the path God had placed for me, Christ, and to walk on it in triumph as the most perfected person there ever will be, thanks to God, right? Also overkill this, right? Pointing this out is not a sign of cockiness, but rather a sign that I'm doing God's work and putting a lamp on his stand. The black belt wordplay also conclusively points to me. Kuro Obi means black belt, Obi in the Igbo language. Now, some of these Jim Carrey-like, wealthy governing class people might not understand because they weren't raised that way. They're kind of spoiled and out of touch, or there was some choir boy for somebody, some butt buddy that, some little boy that was turned down who they allowed to get rich later in life. Okay. But nobody believes them for a reason. Fuming me and interfering with my videos is not going to confuse this. People get it. It's so obvious. It's right there in the wordplay for black belt, right? Kuro Obi means black belt, and Obi is Igbo spelled backwards. Okay, and Obi in the Igbo language means King, Heart, Hut, Temple, Center, Core, Christ. Among other things, and those other things, basically have no deeper relevance, and they're witchcraft ideas. For example, witchcraft is obviously evil, right? And being old by itself is not sacred or important. So when it means elders, I mean any fool who grew old, you know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of weirdos that got old, right? And that's neither here nor there. All kinds of serial killers, all kinds of people who molest children are older. You don't get respect just because you're old. So I reject the idea that you should have the same word for Christ and King and King of Kings and central temple as a word simply meaning an elder. That to me. So in Igbo culture, and that might very well be how they see it there, but God rejects it and I reject it. Okay, and martial arts is greater than any flesh-based group, obviously. Okay, so where were we here? And of course, the devil in the Bible is referred to as the ancient serpent, right? So is the devil an elder? I mean, it's silly, right? Okay, so now obi in Eastern martial arts means belt or sash. The sash can mean a sash that women used to carry their children. This is one of many examples of how martial, the words martial and marital are connected. Christ in the Bible is called the bridegroom, and in the New Testament and referred to as a champion in Psalm 19, and in Psalm 18 it makes it clear it's a champion in martial arts. It says, God trains the king's hands for battle in Psalm 18. Okay. Point number 33. On behalf of the global financiers, bankers, corporations, and other rich Satanists, the West and its allies have been trying to rig the sciences. They have even developed technologies to try to make it so I seem crazy, and perhaps will pretend to have proof that I have some sort of, supposedly, Caesar disorder, to try to undermine my divine testimony. Only the dumbest of fools will believe them. Only the dumbest of fools tries to impress and rule over the dumbest of fools. What do you call somebody who tries to make everyone like the Simpsons so they can impress them, right? That's an idiot, right? What do you call a group of people? It's like those stone masons or whatever they were in the Simpsons. Say, who put the dun-dun on their back? We do, right? It is a stupid, sissy, weirdo, weird boarding school type of person, stupid, mentality, and a stupid fool that tries to impress a bunch of George Jetson Simpson types in the future. I mean, there's no words for how stupid that is. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to impress Alicia Silverstone from Clueless. Rick and Morty. Ren and Stimpy. Pinky and the Brain. The Wacky Racers. Okay, can you imagine how stupid someone has to be to persecute the most righteous guy ever trying to impress Harley fucking Quinn? You see how they should get slapped across the face with a brick and flogged to death if there's any justice in the world, so to speak? Okay? Doesn't take a genius to see that I'm right about this. Now, when you get here, you also, if you don't feel angry, then you're dumb, right? It's not a matter of, anger is bad. No, anger is good. Okay? If you get jumped in the jungle by a lion, or you're walking down an alleyway and a bunch of wild dogs jump you, if you don't get angry, you're a dead fuck. And that's natural selection, right? You didn't get angry because you're a dumbass, right? Now you're dead, right? You see what I'm saying? So there's many situations, right? When people are doing you wrong, if you don't get angry, you're probably going to follow the masses like a dumbass, sheep. Sheep don't get angry to any significant degree, and they're just dumb farm animals, okay? The leopard is like the master of the land animals, and it gets very, very angry, and an intense anger. Okay, and nature is telling you in every turn, right? The sun's intensity separates it from a mere fire, for example, or a mere flashlight. Okay, nature makes it clear to you intensity is key here. Okay, and to lose it to some degree, like I have from walking the path of intensity and shining like the sun, hey, that just means I was doing the right thing. This is just a phase before I get by God's right hand or get rewarded for everything I've done. And little kids should be able to tell you that by now. Okay. So let's get to 34 because I'm almost out of time. Wordplay devils, a.k.a. fakes, a.k.a. theater art snakes, a.k.a. propaganda villains, a.k.a. psychology demons, are all clearly inferior to even the least of the righteous. Okay, I can't go over this enough. If you don't get anything else from this paper, get that an attractive female is a stupid fucking bitch if she doesn't run, not walk, to obey God through me immediately. Okay, it says even their Bible. It says, a beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold rings in a pig's snout. In Psalm 45, it says submit to the king. It says submit to the king, honor the king, bow to the king, obey the king. In the various translations, like Psalm 45:11, it says submit to him. And who's the most excellent of men? The mighty warrior, the mighty one, riding forth in the cause of truth. Cause of truth, not the Jewish cause, but the cause of truth, justice, and humility. Okay? Girding his sword, grasping his sword, is a mighty warrior. Not a Freemason, not a business person, not a magic card person, not a church people. These people in the church aren't warriors. They're not in a warrior spirit. I am the most excellent of men. Psalm 45. And those who reject my leadership, Proverbs 16:12 is established in righteousness, focus, moral intensity. Okay? Those people who are attractive females who reject my leadership are like a gold ring in a fucking pig snout. Swine that demons were cast into, and then they drown themselves, in a pool of excrement.